Steve Reich, actor and lawyer here in New York, currently Zooming a lot. And here is Michelle Fix. Give us your intro.
Well, I'm Michelle Fix. I am also currently in New York, very near to Steve, and I do a lot of comedy, and I've also dabbled in fashion and the home industries.
Let's get back into the business talk. So now what you have to be careful about, because I think it was last week, we had a very interesting talk about how if you hire too local, it's like too real.
Yes.
So the flip side of that is, you know, when you go to audition for some of these smaller roles, you know, they're supposed to be the fabric of the show, right? The fabric of the world. Right. So, you know, you go in and you got to try and fit into the world and not draw too much attention to yourself if it's what we call a co-star, a couple lines, right?
Right.
But for those who are new in the game and are trying to really make their mark, you can tell when they're in the waiting room. First of all, they look like they're pissing their pants. They're like saying their line. I mean, I get super nervous too. I'm not, you know, but like, I've just learned to hide it a little better at this point. But like when you're new, you're just like, this is it. And they're like sitting there like rhesus monkeys, like running their lines. And there's only two. There's only two, but they're gonna fuck it up. They're definitely gonna fuck it up. It's like, you know, it's like, yeah, he went that way. He went that way. So they're just losing it in the waiting room. The other way you can tell is because they're dressed, and this is what I'm getting about with this, like you having all these props ready to go. They are dressed in full character, no matter what it is.
Oh, hilarious.
So I once went in for, I think it might have been the Deuce. It was either the Deuce, it was Period. And I went into the co-star role was a wedding planner. Oh no, you know what it was? Vinyl. With Bobby Cannavale.
I never saw that.
Wild.
Oh.
Yeah, it was good too.
She's very nice.
Yeah, I didn't get, spoiler alert, I didn't get the part, so I didn't get to meet her.
Oh.
But anyway, maybe this guy I'm about to tell a story about did get the part. But anyway, the role was a wedding planner. And like I coached on it, you know, I'm like, yeah, you want to book it. So, you know, it was very like the whole thing was like, oh, well, this is a la carte, so that will be 45. You know, it's all that shit. And but in the waiting room, there was a guy who was dressed in full, because the show was set in the 70s. This guy was dressed in a full leisure suit and had a calculator and was ready to like, you know, run, because in the scene it was like running out the charges. But if you're not a doctor out there, what you have to understand is when you go to audition, you don't bring props.
I'm not saying I would do that.
Or you don't. You mime it or you ignore it because props are distracting, and it's just not how it works. But this guy didn't get the memo because he looked like he was ready to shoot the thing.
You look at it?
Yeah, he was like, he had like an accountant's.
It's hilarious if he was the one that booked it.
And like lo and behold, I'm sure he booked it. But you know what? Even if he did book it, it doesn't
justify that.
It's a false positive because that's all he could ever get.
Right.
Like you don't want to go in being like, this is what I got. Like you got to be a little cooler than like, I could do this or I could do that. This guy's like, I've got it. It's like if you're going to like a surgeon, he wears like scrubs. Yeah, I mean, it's like I know they want you to be the part when you walk in the door, but not in the costume. So in other words, it's a long way of me being like, don't worry, that's props. Don't worry about that. And you're sitting here picking up 25-year-old phones in the woods.
I know. I'm like, I can use this.
Beep. Hello.
I know. I'm like, score. Look, it's a phone that doesn't work that I found in the woods. Woohoo!
Such a lunatic. Oh my God.
And then I'm like, where can I put this?
Let's keep going on the worst stuff. What's the worst audition you've ever had?
Oh, there were two. One I can't talk about, but one I will. So one was for
I'm under agreement not to talk about one of them. I have a gag over it.
One of them I just won't talk about because it was actually traumatizing and I still remember it.
Was it with Harvey Weinstein?
No, it was actually for voiceover.
Hey, well, yeah. Hey, remember the upgrade? Hey, Harvey, when you getting out? How'd you get out?
Ladder.
Yeah, I heard that settlement will. All right.
So no, the worst audition I had it was for a game show. And it was like, I was going to be a contestant on a game show or something. Some stupid, you know, it was in New York. And they wanted to see, it was one of those things where it's like a challenge game show. So you're going to be like a contestant on it, but they cast those things as well, right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
sorry, everybody.
Sorry. We were forced to eat, well, this was the audition, in that you had to eat jalapeno peppers that got hotter and hotter and hotter.
Was it Fear Factor?
I can't remember the name of the show, but it was, you had to eat the jalapeno peppers, and then you had to say lines. Yeah, in the audition. And it was me and another person, and we were like challenging one another to eat the peppers and then say the next line. Yes. And then they had water or milk or bread for you to like eat or whatever. And while we were doing the audition, at some point I kind of just looked at the casting directors and I gave them one of those looks like, so this is what you do, and this is what you're forcing us to do.
I went to Rhonda.
It was one of those looks of like, so this is what we've all come to. Okay. And then I just kept going. And then the poor stupid girl, she drank water to, to like cool her mouth down. And of course that just makes it worse because it just.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
So I had bread and milk, and then they kind of looked at her, and then they looked at me, and they were like, so do you guys get it? And I was like, yeah, I get it. And they looked at me and they were like, oh yeah, Michelle gets it.
She gets it. Yeah.
And I was like, and I don't want this part. You can fucking shove it up your ass.
I can't believe that's a bad audition. I mean, that's
not horrible.
That's just like, what are they looking for? Like she can really
I don't know. It was like, what kind of facial expressions do you make as your mouth is on fire? I don't know what they were like. It was so dehumanizing and ridiculous.
It's like that. I just started watching. It's like that show Fosse, where it's like, yeah, take it from the top. Yeah, she can really hold the peppers. she got heat, doesn't she? She got heat. Yeah, do that again. Do that again. Yeah, do that again.
Yeah, it was just like it was like that. It was like it was ridiculous.
Do what you did before.
Oh, look, a tear. A tear's coming. Oh,
like
can you try out of the other eye?
Like that. Like this.
Whoa.
Like that.
It's so bullshit. So what was yours? One of them.
I know I'm a survivor because my worst audition ever was my first audition ever.
Really?
Cut to 2000. I think 2000 or 99.
Uh-huh.
Backstage. Paper edition. Hard copy. Ooh, look at this. Like some play with three male, three female, I don't know, open call, Upper West Side, which should have been the first tip-off. There's only one reputable, God forbid if you're out there and you are up here, but as far as I know, there's only one reputable casting office on the Upper West Side. It's G.D. Henderson Casting. He did Homeland and lots of great things. But you rarely go up there for an audition. But this was like, amateur. So because it wasn't a casting office. It was like some dude who did his own play or whatever. So I get up there and I'm like, I got to do it. I got to audition. This is the process. So
yeah.
I go up to this location. It's like in the 70s. It's so random. Line down the block. And I'm like, oh boy. Heart's pounding out of the chest. Yeah, I gotta do it. I got my Shakespeare monologue all ready to go. And I got my little headshot, and there's like manila envelope. You had to bring your headshot around.
Oh, yeah, of course.
With like nothing on it. Yeah. I'm sitting there and like every part of my being wants to just run into traffic. Just get out of there. I'm just waiting and waiting. And as I get closer, then you got to wind around. Then you got to go down the stairs, and it's in the basement of it's like a residential building. And all these actors are there. And I'm so new. It was my first audition. And then you got all these like kind of like vets, like, Have you ever seen Urinetown?
No.
It was a great musical about a town that charged people to pee.
Oh!
Anyway, they're always waiting online and for the bathroom. It was like a huge part of the show. But anyway, I felt like I was in Urinetown. I was waiting in line to piss. So anyway, so it's like long line. But I'm like, I'm going to do this. So I'm like 20, 30 minutes in. I could have run, but I didn't. I stuck it out. I'm still there. And I'm winding into this like dank basement with fluorescent lighting, and I get closer and closer. And as I'm like turning the corner where there are only like 5 or 6 people left, 2 actors just storm out and go right past us. And actors, we're dramatic people, but sometimes we do this too. This guy walks by. We like to give everyone a heads up. Sometimes it's passive aggressive, like a little bit like break legs.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Legs. And I'm like, you first.
I'll break yours.
Break legs. It wasn't that. This guy was honestly like trying to give people a heads up. And he goes, this is a total vanity project. And I'm like, what's a vanity project? I'm like, oh. I knew it wasn't good. I knew it wasn't good. So I turn the corner, and now I'm like, oh, it's my turn. I get in there, and I don't know if I knew the girl. Maybe I knew the girl. I can't remember, but I recognized her or something. The girl who was helping him was very nice, and I don't know. We had like a thing, like a moment. I don't know. She was kind of into me, or I was into her. I don't know. So that was going good. But this guy, before I get into the room, he stepped. Before it's my turn, the director comes out. This is after Vanity Project actor blasts him. Comes out, looks at like a bunch of us, goes, yes, no, no, yes, yes. I was shitting bricks. I'm like, oh my God. It's like they've always told me it would be. And he looks like Indiana Jones, like an old wannabe Indiana Jones with a stupid, safari hat on.
Oh my God.
York. Like, what was it, Elaine? Like the urban sombrero?
Oh, yes, the urban sombrero.
I mean, if that's not a tip off, what is, right? You got a fucking Magnum P. What are you? This is absurd. He's got a goddamn Indiana Jones hat on in a basement on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. Yes. Anyway, I guess I was a yes for that. So then those people just turn around and leave.
Oh.
I guess I was a maybe yes. So I get into this audition. I do my Shakespearean monologue. It was for a play, but it was an original play.
Right.
I get through it. It's just god awful. I mean, Shakespeare would have been like, did I write that?
I don't write that.
Okay, not him. But anyway, so
no.
I finished this thing. I swear to God, the girl goes, oh. Not in like you're terrible, more of like, oh, you're cute. That's maybe we can. And the guy, this fucking guy, this Vanity Project SOB goes, would you consider helping us out in any non-acting role? You want me to sweep the floors? Help out backstage? And I think, to my credit, I was like, no, I'm not really interested in that. Thanks for coming.
Wow.
I got plenty more, and we'll do other stories on other days. But that's the worst one. Didn't get it. But I stuck it out. That was huge. I stuck it out. I waited on that line for like over an hour. Even as every sign, every fiber in my body, everybody was like, get out of here, get out of here. I got through the gauntlet, and I did it. And that remains the worst audition I've ever had. I've never, it's like the big guy or the big lady upstairs threw it all at me on day one.
That's not even that bad.
At the time, it was pretty bad. For that to be the first one.
I was going to say, I think it's traumatic because it was your first audition.
Yeah.
But I bet if you really thought about it, you've had some other ones that were like.
Well, that was the worst one of external circumstances. I've had, just really quick, I had one once. They have like open call for theater, like for Broadway. Not even Broadway, yes. Broadway. Like, sorry, it's equity open call for non-equity. So
yes.
they do their equity first, where you have all those old timers roaming the halls. I think some of them are good, actually. They're like, I did Arkansas rep in 1949, Tennessee.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're like wandering the halls watching themselves. And then you have like folks who are trying to be equity. They have to, under union rules, see non-equity for a very short period of time, but they don't.
Right.
It's rare they really cast somebody from it. But anyway, they have to. So I was determined to do that as well. And I was schlepping around town, and you know this because you and I were studying together at the time. I was schlepping around town some piece by Neil LaBute from Your Friends and Neighbors. It's pretty racy. It's about like, I don't even want to say it, but it's like, you can look it up. It's Jason Patrick does a monologue in a sauna about a sexual experience in his youth that is quite wrong. Okay. Quite legal. Anyway, I'm shopping this around town because he's a good type for me, and it was edgy enough that it would stand out. It wasn't dumb, you know, it got me noticed in some places, good or bad. But anyway, so this was my weapon at that time. I'm like, yeah. So I get in to do this non-equity or this equity non-equity call for I think it was for Pinter. I'm not sure, but they were like the call was, you know, like, bring in whatever you want, but we need to see a British accent. So I go in and I do this very sexual monologue, and I'm like 25 or something. I don't know. I'm like, I'm gonna knock her hair back. I come in and I rip my shirt off, and I start like getting into the sexuality of this scene, and it's like really a lot. It's a lot. I do this whole thing, and then I'm done, and it's like so shameful. Then like I walk over and like pick up my shirt and put it back on, and I'm like working up a sweat, and I can tell like this auditor is just kind of like, whoa, this is awkward.
Did not see that coming.
He was like an assistant, like young, and we were just in there alone. And listen, I'm not saying she felt uncomfortable like I was going to do something, but she was definitely uncomfortable. Okay, it was awkward. Like putting my shirt back on, I'm like, you want me to do it again or something? She's like, no, I'm good. We're good. And I'm on my way out, and I go, wait, I forgot to do the British accent. She goes, it's fine.
We're good.
I'll never look in her eye.
No, that's good. Yeah, it's good.
If you're really playing that out, it's fun, right? It's like, I'm like out of breath. I'm like, oh wait, I forgot to do it in British. We're good.
It's all good. We've got what we need.
Great scene in that horrible movie, We Could Be Cops, I think, where he's like an actor at the top, and he's doing some audition. He's like doing something. He's because I'm the killer. It's totally. I'm the killer. It's totally that. It's in British. We're good.
We are all good.